In a few minutes, I'm going to present on the stage of Internet of Focus event. Keep fingers crossed for me to go well. Let's go. How many of you here in the room prefer face-to-face interactions? Please raise your hands. Wow, almost everyone, including myself, even though I work with video. And you know what? That's not strange, because we humans evolved under 100,000 years to communicate this way, to look at each other, to wait for someone's response, to read someone's body language and think, is this person my friend or my enemy? Well, this, smartphones, videos, this way of communication has existed only for 20, 15 years. Maybe some of you haven't even started using video, at least not in business communication. But my dear friends, here's the truth, like it or not. If you're gonna base your business communication on face-to-face communication, then there are very clear limitations in terms of time and efficiency. And especially if you work with large ecosystems, if your customers are very complex ecosystems where there are many stakeholders, where there are many decision makers, you know, those people, they are busy and they are often out of your reach. So with help of video, you can much easier and much more efficient reach those people and affect big ecosystems. And why video, you may wonder? There are so many digital tools, and today you are sitting here and listening about all those great digital tools. But video is different in one way. It is imitating face-to-face communication the best. It comes the closest face-to-face communication. I used to say that it's second best face-to-face. And then it doesn't surprise that the latest big video survey conducted by one big marketing agency this year showed that 85% of people who are watching a company's video have tendency to buy the company's product or a service. So this is such a huge potential we have. And apart from a video having this potential to turn a viewer into a buyer, it can help you also to scale your time and to make your business communication more efficient. And you know, you work, I guess, in sales and marketing, and you know that even today, in 2022, one of the biggest problems we face in our business communication is that marketing and sales don't speak the same language. So first, establishing a solid messaging. Number two, applying throughout your organization. Number three, converting it into different content. Video is one of them, and today I'm going to focus on video. And in the last stage, distributing that content in a very smart and strategical way throughout your marketing and sales cycle. And pay attention, I say marketing and sales cycle, not only sales cycle, because again, marketing and sales, they should work together. It shouldn't be just sales cycle. So let's start from the beginning, from the messaging. And the messaging model I'm going to present today is developed by my colleague, Christopher Engman. This model is a little bit different than the classic messaging. And how does the classic messaging goes? You heard it probably many times. Like, you meet a company and they start talking about their products, services, and why are the best on the market. I see some heads nodding. I know, unfortunately, that's very common. What we propose instead is to reverse the pyramid. It means that at the beginning, instead of starting talking about yourself and your products, you should establish yourself as the ambassador of the problem, not the ambassador of the solution. What does that mean? You should start talking about the market, the pains, the problems, the trends on the market that are, of course, connected to your solution. And when you start talking like that, I promise you that your listeners and your potential customers will listen to you much more carefully, because they will think, this person knows what he or she talks about. They know the market, they know the problem, they identify my pain. And to establish yourself even more in this position as an authority, then you move forward in the messaging process and you start talking about categories of the solution, very high level. Let us say you have 3 categories of solution. One of them is yours, but you still don't mention your company and your product. You're just establishing yourself as the authority who knows what he or she talks about. And then if your category is, let's say, the 3rd one, then you start elaborating on that category and naming what are the subcategories that are available for the solution. And then is the time to start talking about your product. I know that this may sound very abstract to you if you haven't heard about this type of messaging or terminology. So I decided to give you a concrete example to make you really understand this principle. And let us say that I am eyewear manufacturer. So my product are high quality eyeglasses for reduced vision that sell in a specialized shop for high quality optical equipment. So if that is my product, what should I start talking about at the beginning? Problems, pains, trends. And thinking about the modern society and our screen exposure, we can, for example, start talking about blue light, how the blue light affect us in the modern society. And maybe come up with some research data, say 40% of people today in the modern society search for some help with the reduced vision before they turn 40 or something like that. I don't have any concrete data right now, I just want to make you understand what I'm talking about. When you map the problem, then you move into category solutions. And category solutions in this case could be for a person, let's think about a person with a reduced vision. Could be number 1, lenses, number 2, laser eye surgery, and number 3, which is, by the way, my category, eyeglasses. I leave eye surgery, I leave lenses. I just mentioned them to let my customer know that I am familiar with the market and have an objective approach. And then I start elaborating on eyeglass category. So here, of course, I argument that that category is better, saying maybe that there are no side effects, you can get help straight away, etc., etc. And then subcategory could be, let's say, designer eyeglasses. So I talk about that subcategory. Then the next one could be drugstore eyeglasses. And the 3rd one, my subcategory, high quality eyeglasses that you can buy in specialized optical shops. And when you map all this, then I come and say, you know what? I sell those high quality glasses that are a result of a research or recommended by certain ophthalmologists and so on. So you get the point? Does it sound logical? I think so too. And remember, then you start applying this messaging throughout your whole organization. And in the 3rd step, you convert the messaging into content. Then we move to something I called here scheduling. So how we apply these video formats throughout the sales cycle and marketing again. Teaser videos, we use them throughout all our social media platforms. So everywhere. They are really easily consumable, they don't take so much time, they're perfect to use as a YouTube pre-rolls, and then you can link them to pitch video, so if person wants to know more, then they know where to land to find out more. And they are really targeted for broad groups. People who maybe heard something about your company or don't know anything about it. Because again, the information which is presented in teaser video is of a broad interest. Pitch videos. They are from 3 to 5 minutes long, so they are not that social media friendly, I would say. If people don't know about you, there is a very low risk that they will invest 3 to 5 minutes to find out about your company. So what we recommend is to put them on your website homepage as the landing or connected to, again, some short videos. You can use them as an attachment in an email, so as a complement. Or you can, of course, you should have them on your YouTube page. Explainer videos, this long format that explains the whole messaging, shouldn't be published officially. So that's something you use in the direct communication with your prospects or even your... Then, when it's the time for the first meeting suddenly becomes the second meeting because you move throughout the sales cycle much faster. And from our experience, people often watch those videos if you ask them and if you have the meeting. Then they take a kind of responsibility on themselves to invest some time in watching this kind of video. Deep dives, again, they are, as I said, used either with prospects or your customers to exchange or replace the time that an expert would put into an actual meeting. So I hope I convinced you to use videos. I was convinced a long time ago and see a big potential, not only me, I mean, everyone who is in this business knows that video is creating the highest conversion in the digital space. But there are still some people that don't use video in their business. And the same survey I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation showed that these are the reasons why people are still not using video. Too expensive, takes too much time, they don't see clear return on investment, they can't convince decision makers at the beginning of the process to use video, etc., etc. I understand them. These reasons are relevant. It is time-consuming, it is expensive, and return on investment with video, you can't see it directly. But still, there are much more pro-arguments than contra-arguments for using video. And in my personal opinion, this survey missed to mention something very important that I see as one of the main reasons why people are still hesitating to stand in front of the camera and put their message out there. And this is the reason. Stage fright. Stage fright is actually something we maybe don't want to admit to ourselves or our colleagues, but there are so many people out there who are nervous when they stand in front of the camera or on stage. This is me, 5 years old. Do you think if I was shy or confident while growing up as a little girl in ex-Yugoslavia? How many of you think that I was confident? Not so many? One! Oh, okay. Hey, you're right. You're right. I was very shy. I was so shy that I even fainted while singing in a primary school choir. But you know what? I decided to fight it. So I enrolled in all possible activities that involved public speaking, singing in a choir. I was not so successful. Acting, debating, all this was low level. I mean, and the possibilities, to be honest with you, while growing up in a country that was in war for 4 years, there were no so many. But I found them. If you want, you will find them. So 20 years after, this was me. I was presenting on a big stage in front of live audience, and the program was live broadcasted. I was working as a TV presenter back then in my home country, Bosnia. So even then, I was not so confident. Even today, while standing here in front of you, I'm not 100% confident, to be honest with you. But there are some guiding principles that I follow that make me still stand here in front of you and beat that fear or nervousness or whatever we call it. And it's this formula, 3P formula. And those 3 P's stand for passion, practice, and presence. You have to have passion to do anything in your life. If you don't have passion, it will not happen and it will not be sustainable. So even wanting to put your message out there, you have to have passion for that. Then you have to practice, and you have to practice a lot. So the last one is the presence. In the presentation technique, the presence means that when you come into the room, you lit up the room. People are listening to you. Some people have it naturally, some people need to work on it. And to work on it, you need to work on your body language, on your posture, on your voice. And believe me, if you do that, if you practice, you will become it. Research shows that if you act confidently, not only people perceive you as a confident person, your brain actually starts believing that you are that. So the researcher who did this research, she said, fake it until you become it.